Shana Tova. Oh my gosh, what a wonderful response. This is the second year we're going to be using our brand new machzor, the Mishkan, the tabernacle. The tabernacle, we have the Mishkan HaNefesh, the tabernacle of the soul. Just want to say a couple things to keep in mind throughout all of the high holiday season. We really want you to participate wherever possible. This prayer book is designed so that everything that is in Hebrew is in transliteration, everything is translated, and they're alternate readings. If we're doing Hebrew and your mind wanders to someplace else and you want to read footnotes, God gets footnotes too. God gets your intention as far as I'm concerned. This is all about returning. And we're going to begin tonight with the song that is all about returning, leading into Hashivenu. I'll indicate the page in just a minute. Just a few things about differences that we have this year. I gave up about July wrestling with whether or not to tell you not to bring your cell phones. 80% of you are bringing your cell phones, and I get it. I get it. But what I want you to do with them is instead of look at something and text during the service, I want you, when you leave the service, either before, after, in the middle, over there to my left, to your right, down by the big blue chair, it's something called Selfie Corner. I'm serious. Pose your families. You're dressed so nice, the big smiles and everything. Take pictures. Keep them for yourself. Send them to us. We'll do a big slideshow, hopefully before Kol Nidre, if you send us your pictures. We're so delighted to do that. At the far end, our wonderful artist, Annie Wiedemann, has created a cloth kotel, a western wall. We have strips of paper with pencils to write your notes, your hopes, your fears, your dreams. And there are little slots and there are little pouches behind the wall that will catch them all. Nobody will read your note, but I will take them to Jerusalem the next time I go. For some of you, to be tactile is a way of increasing the intensity of your connection. For others of you, maybe not so much. And we hope that you enjoy our services, but also, more than enjoy them, you are moved to tshuva, moved to repentance, finally to find forgiveness this high holiday season. We're going to begin tonight with a beautiful rendering. That's assuming my guitar is in tune. A beautiful rendering called Return Again, and it's on page
6.
It's on page 6 in your prayer book, going from right to left. Many of you know the round to Hashivenu. We encourage you to sing. And it starts with this English opening. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn and reborn. Hashivenu, Hashivenu, Adonai Elecha, V'nashuva, V'nashuva, Hadesh, Hadesh, Yameinu Kikadeh. Now you've probably already figured out this is a 3-part round. You can join in any part you want, or you can la-la if you don't know the words, even though the words are there, as long as you open your mouths and sing along. Hashivenu, Hashivenu, Adonai Elecha. Hashivenu, Hashivenu, Adonai Elecha. V'nashuva, v'nashuva. Hadesh, Hadesh, Yameinu Kikadeh. Hashivenu, Shalom. Chodesh, Chodesh, Yameinu Kekedem. Everybody, the last part. Chodesh, Chodesh, Yameinu Kekedem.
We continue on page 10 with the lighting of the holiday candles. And I'll invite you, during our services now and actually forever, for all time, when we invite you to rise, know that this is a sign of respect, but it's also something that you can do if it's something that you can do, but that you don't have to do if it's going to be uncomfortable or difficult or painful to stand. We don't want anybody to be hurting during this service. So please rise as you are able for the lighting of the candles on page 10 and 11. Creation's brightest light, the mystics say, was hidden at the dawn of time. But on this sacred night, this night of hope and joy, a glimmer of that light is here. In candles' flame, in children's eyes, in eyes aglow with wisdom's light, it shines in the faces of the ones we love, in grateful hearts, in tears of loss. It lives in memories of goodness and in our own desire to do right, to try again, to build anew, to ask forgiveness and make peace. We enter this new year and look upon the beauty of these lights. So may the days of awe renew the light within us.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel yom tov.
Amen.
Source of blessing, eternal our God, you fill the universe with majestic might, teaching us holiness through sacred obligations, giving us the mitzvah of bringing light on this festival.
We continue on page 78 and 79 with the Kiddush for the holiday.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'am, v'romamanu mikol hashon, v'kideshanu b'mitzvotav. V'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'ahava, et yom hazikaron hazeh, yom teruah mikra kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'charta, v'otanu kidashta mikol hamim. Udevarecha emet v'kayam lad. Baruch atah Adonai, melech al kol haaretz, mekadesh Yisrael, v'yom hazikaron. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam,
שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
You may be seated.
No, that's yours. That's yours.
We continue on page 13. This autumn night, the shades of darkness in the sky are signs of Earth's turning and the fleeting ways of nature. And we, drawn together in this holy house, filled with New Year's hope and light, turn our hearts toward you in prayer, in worship, seeking life's essence. In the presence of your love, we feel the nearness of those who bless our lives even in death. Precious memories of their love restore our strength, renew our faith in life's goodness. We acknowledge with gratitude the life you have given us, the bounty that sustains us, your comfort in sickness and sorrow, your compassion in valleys of despair. God of years, God of eternity, bless us now and always. Bless our homes and our families. Be with us in our dreams and in our hopes. Be with us through these days of awe as we search our souls within and seek the lasting shelter of your love.
We turn ahead to page 15, and as you are comfortable doing so, please rise for the announcing with a shofar blast of the year.
We join together, Baruch Atah Adonai, Shomea Kol Truat Amo Yisrael Berachamim. Blessed are you in our lives, Adonai. You hear with love the shofar, true voice of your people Israel. Tikiyah. As we turn to the Hineni prayer, which asks God to take us in as we are, I invite you to read on page 16 the individual reflection while Cantor Berman leads us in the traditional text.
Hineni, Heoni mimas, נרשת ונפחדת מפחד יושיב תהילות ישראל. באתי לעמוד ולחנין לפניך על עמך ישראל, אשר שלחוני ואף על פי שאני חדאית והגונה לכך. על כן אבקש אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה. אדוני, אדוני, אל רחום וחנון, אלוהים, שדי היום ונורא. יהי רצון מלפניך, אדוני, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, שרה, רבקה, רחל ולאה. האל הגדול, הגיבור הנורא, עליון, אהיה אשר אהיה. שתבוא תפילתי לפני כיסא כבודך, בעבור כל הצדיקים והחסידים, התמימים והישרים, ובעבור כבוד שמך הגדול והנורא, כי אתה שומע תפילת עמך ישראל ברחמים. ברוך אתה שומע.
On page 17. Here I am, so poor in deeds I tremble in fear, overwhelmed and apprehensive before you to whom Israel sings praise. Although unworthy, I rise to pray and seek favor for your people Israel, for they have entrusted me with this task. Therefore, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, God of Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, Adonai, Adonai, merciful, gracious God, who inspires awe, I pray to you for success on my path. I pray for myself and my community. Do not hold them responsible for my wrongs and offenses. May my deeds cause them no shame, and may their deeds cause me no shame. Adonai, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, God of Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, great, mighty, awe-inspiring, God Most High, who said to Moses, I will be what I will be. May it be your will that my prayer reach your presence for the sake of the righteous and blameless, the honest and pure of heart, for the sake of your glory. You hear your people's prayer with compassion. Blessed are you, the one who hears prayer.
Please remain standing. We're on page 19.
As we announce the new year, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu yehi ratzon shenizkeh levirchotecha bishnat 5,778. Elohei olam barech otanu ve'et kol beit Yisrael b'chidush yameinu b'simcha uv'shalom b'nechama uv'ometz lev b'chilutz atzamot uv'ruach eitana. Yehi pri sfatenu mikubal v'ratzui milfanecha bifros hashana hachadasha. La'ad modim anachnu lach al matanat hachayim. Together, our God and God of our ancestors, may we know your blessing in the year 5778. Eternal One, bless us and the whole house of Israel with renewed life, happiness and peace, comfort and courage, resilience and strength. May the words of our heart be acceptable to you in the new year that stretches before us. We are forever grateful for the gift of life. Be seated. We join together in the Hebrew of Ma'ariv Aravim, the prayer for the wonders of creation, especially the mixing of light into dark. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher biyado Ma'ariv Aravim, b'chokhmah potech she'arim, u'bitvuna mishane itim, u'machalif et hazmanim, ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, כולל אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. On the facing page, the quickening of the moon calls us to return, and we gather seam dwellers on the edge of the earth. As the sun lowers itself into the sea, introspection rises. A sliver cracks the heart of the firmament, the vast blackness and invitation to write ourselves anew.
Baruch atah Adonai, Amariv Aravim.
In the middle of page 24, we join together. Love beyond all space and time. Your love enfolds your people, Yisrael.
We receive it in your teaching, your gift of Torah and sacred obligations, discipline and law. So let us speak these teachings when we lie down and rise up, and find joy forever in your Torah and mitzvot. They are the very essence of our lives.
Ponder and study all our days.
May we never lose or be unworthy of your love.
For you are blessed, the one who loves your people, Yisrael.
Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael.
Page 26, please rise as you are able.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Amen.
Please be seated. Continue on page 28.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 33. 33. I knew I was going to say 83. Page 33. We read responsively. To break the bonds of anger, to be generous of heart.
Bonds of shame, to live with self-respect.
To break the bonds of envy, to serve one another with joy.
To break the bonds of boredom, to be attentive to all God's gifts.
To break the bonds of fear, to live with courage and strength.
To untie the knots of betrayal, to love with fullness of being.
To break the bonds of loneliness, to receive a hand of hope.
To break the bonds of self-centeredness, to extend a hand of help.
Released from the darkness, our people found their freedom at the sea, and we pray for liberation at the dawning of this year. Page 34.
וראו בניו גבורותיו שיבחו והודו לשמו ומלכותו ברצון קבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך גדול בקודש נורא תהילות אוסף מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע הים לפני משה מרים צעירי ענו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו
page 37 in the middle of the page with Shomer Yisrael asking God to guard us.
Shomer, Shomer Yisrael, Shemor Sherit Yisrael. Shomer, Shomer Yisrael, Shemor Sherit Yisrael. Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad Yisrael, Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad Yisrael, Ha'omrim, Ha'omrim, Ha'omrim Shema Yisrael. Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad Yisrael, Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad Yisrael, Ha'omrim, Ha'omrim, Ha'omrim Shema Yisrael.
At the top of the page, we join together.
Darkness settles slowly
across the horizon. The new year rises before us, its fragile moon awaiting our embrace.
Heaven and earth intertwine in their annual dance of recreation. A fissure appears in the firmament tonight, an entranceway to new beginnings. Out beyond the swales, the sea expands and contracts, keeping time to the thrumming of the universe. Under this Rosh HaShanah sky, the path before us is uncertain. All we can do is hold each other tight as we make our way home. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
Amen.
Page 40, please rise as you are able for Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
ילמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי. בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל. בהגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו.
Amen. יהי שמי רבה.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתעשה ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה ולעילה ולעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן ויעלמה ויאמרו
You can't rush a prayer to God. If it comes from the heart, it will rush out on its own, speed through receding galaxies or silences in the soul, and God will hear. Honesty with all, but speaking to God is different. Mine the soul, for your coal and gems and regular earth, no pretense, and God will hear. Don't force the prayer or string words together. Pause, perhaps. Better not to pray. Silence will be a message of awe, and God will hear. Now step off into the very deep, beyond the way of prayer. We glimpse unknown magnitudes of God. No more, or we would be stunned into silence, except that love makes itself small. We could not pray at all.
Adonai sefatai tifta ufi agid iratecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch Ata Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevii Geula Livnei Bneihem, Le'man Shemo Be'ahava. Zochreinu lechaim, melech hafetz b'chaim, v'chodreinu b'sefer ha'chaim, l'moncha Elohim chayim, melech ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei hakol ata Rav v'Hoshia, Morir ata, mechakel chaim b'chesed, mechayei hakol v'rachamim rabim, somek noflim v'rafeh cholim, u'matir asurim, u'mekayem emunato l'shenei afar. Michamocha bal geburot, u'mino melech, melech memit u'mechayeh, u'matzmiach Yeshua. Michamocha el harachamim, zocher yesurav, chaim merachamim, v'ne'emanata l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayei hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehallelu Selah.
On 49 at the top, you are holy. Your name is holy. Seekers of holiness praise you day by day. Selah. Please be seated. Just quietly, right? And so in your holiness, give all creation the gift of awe. Turn our fear into reverence. Let us be witnesses of wonder. Perceiving all nature as a prayer come alive. We bow to the sovereignty of your strength, the primacy of your power. We yearn for connection with all that lives, doing your will with wholeness of heart. Awe-inspiring is your creation, all-encompassing your transcendent name. Turn the page. And so, in your kindness, holiness, and so in your holiness, give your people the gift of honor. Bless with praise those who praise you. Bless with hope those who seek you. Give your believers a basis for faith, true happiness for the land of Israel, true joy in Jerusalem. May the sparks of David, your servant, soon grow bright enough for us to see a beam of light in the darkness, a promise of perfection. And so in your holiness, give the righteous the gift of a vision bright with joy, a world where evil has no voice, and the rule of malevolence fades like wisps of smoke. Good people everywhere celebrate the stunning sight of arrogance gone from the earth. 52. You and you alone, Adonai, will reign over creation with me, please, upon Mount Zion, home of your presence,
and in Jerusalem, a city set apart by you, as the psalmist believed. Adonai will reign eternally, your God Zion for all generations. Hallelujah.
Kadosh ata v'nora shemecha ve'en Eloah mibaladecha kakatuv vayigba Adonai tzva'ot b'mishpat ha'el hakadosh nikdash b'tzedakah. Together, you are holy. Your name is awe. There is nothing divine beyond you.
As the prophet Isaiah taught, the source of all might is exalted through justice, the God of holiness made holy through righteousness. Baruch atah Adonai HaMelech HaKadosh.
Amen. On the facing page, you chose us with love to be messengers of mitzvot, and through us you made known your aspirations. Together, among all the many peoples, you gave us a pathway to holiness. Among all the great nations, you uplifted us and made yourself our sovereign. And so we seek you and serve you and celebrate your nearness, your presence, your great and sacred name.
Vatiten lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'ahava.
In your love, eternal our God, you have given us this day of remembrance, a day for shofar's joyful sound, a day of sacred assembly, a day to be mindful of our people's going out from Egypt. The bottom of the page together in English. Our God and God of our generations before us,
may a memory of us ascend and come before you. May it be heard and seen by you, winning your favor and reaching your awareness together with the memory of our ancestors, the memory of your sacred city, Jerusalem, and the memory of your people, the family of Israel. May we be remembered for safety, well-being, and favor.
For love and compassion, for life and for peace on this day of remembrance.
Zachreinu Adonai Eloheinu bo letova.
Amen.
Ufoktenu vo livracha.
Amen.
Voshienu vo lechayim.
Amen. Eternal our God, remember us.
Amen.
We need better amens. We've got to work on that. Be mindful of us.
Amen.
And redeem us for a life of goodness and healing.
Amen.
At the bottom, in the middle of that page, we read together. Favor us with words of deliverance and mercy.
Show us the depth of your care, God. We await your redemption for your reign with grace and compassion.
This is the season of God. This is the season of our humanity. And this is the day when one word stands at the very center of Jewish prayer, Meloch. The three Hebrew letters, Mem, Lamed, Chaf. Reign over space and time, Meloch. Reign over the infinite expanse. Show us your reality. Help us see our finite place in the cosmos that is our home. What is God's sovereignty? What is God's rule? It is a rule of unity by which we sense coherence in the universe. It is the power of relationship, relating every image of God to every other image of God, and to every facet of nature, sunshine and ocean waves, heartbeats, honeybees, the stuff that stars are made of. It is the ultimate power that governs our lives with wisdom, compassion, truth, and kindness. In this season of God, may we breathe new life into the ancient name Melech HaOlam, and may the ruler of the universe breathe new life into each of us. We're in the middle of page 59, and I'll ask you to read the reading with me, Coming Home. Together?
Once there was a prince who sailed to faraway countries. Many years passed, and at last the prince thought of coming back. For a moment he felt shame. He had been away so long. So much time had passed since he last saw his home. And then he said to himself, I must not be ashamed to come back. After all, it is to my own ancestral property that I return. So it is with us. No matter how far we have wandered from the Torah, it remains our own possession. For Scripture says, Moses charged us with this teaching as the heritage of the congregation of Jacob. Each of us has our own portion of the Torah. It belongs to us. And when we take up the study of Torah, we are coming home. Baruch atah Adonai, Melech al kol haaretz, Mekadesh Yisrael. Melech al kol haaretz, Mekadesh Yisrael. Melech al kol haaretz, Mekadesh Yisrael. V'yom hazikaron. Say Adonai Eloheinu B'yamecha Yisrael U'tefilatam b'yahava tikabel U'tehil ratzon Tamid avodat Yisrael Yisrael Amecha Il karov lechol korav Pnei lavadecha v'chanenu Shefach ruchacha ותחזינה עינינו ושובך ברחמים ברוך אתה אדוני שכינתו
For the Modim tonight, our reading is on 63 in the middle of the page. In the name of the daybreak and the eyelids of the morning, and the wayfaring moon in the night when it departs, I swear I will not dishonor my soul with hatred, but offer myself humbly as a guardian of nature, as a healer of misery, as a messenger of wonder, as an architect of peace. Together, in the name of the sun and its mirrors, and the day of the female, the plants bursting with seed, and the crowning seasons of the firefly and the apple. I will honor all life, wherever and in whatever form it may dwell. On earth, my home. The sealing blessing for this is on 64 in the middle. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shemcha, ulecha me'eh lahodot. We continue with the last prayer of the Amidah, the Shalom Rav, on page 66.
Shalom Rav HaYisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam.
Shalom Rav HaYisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam.
Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom.
Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom.
V'tovei lecha levarich et emcha חיים, ברכה ושלום.
ברכה ושלום, פרנסה טובה.
ברכה ושלום. אליך אנחנו וכל עמך בית ישראל.
לחיים טובים ושלום.
ברוך אתה אדוני, עושה השלום.
On page 69 in the middle is a reading to focus us before we go into silent prayer. There are silent prayers on page 68 and the top of 69, but there are also prayers that are inscribed on your heart that only you can say, that no ancient language or modern rendering can speak for you. So we invite you to choose the readings on the page or the readings on your heart after this lovely poem. Wheel me down to the shore where the lighthouse was abandoned and the moon tolls in the rafters. Let me hear the wind paging through the trees and see the stars flaring out one by one like the forgotten faces of the dead. I was never able to pray, but let me inscribe my name in the book of waves and then stare into the dome of a sky that never ends and see my voice sail into the night. Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. Yam da 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 da. Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. Ve'imru. It's become a very strongly established tradition in the Reform movement that every time we gather, it's appropriate to think of those who are in need of healing. And the prayer for healing is on page 72. It'll be followed by the beautiful rendition called Heal Us Now, or Rifa'enu. On Friday nights, we often ask people to call names out loud. As I'm reading, on the right-hand side of the page, if there's a name that you want to enter into a collective heart, say it out loud. If you want to say it more privately, say it to yourself. This is a hall of healing, a space to look to comfort each other. So I'll read the beautiful reading that introduces the choral piece, Heal Us Now. And feel free, I'm not going to look at your part of the congregation, I'm not going to direct with my hand. If you are moved to say a name to add to our heart, please do so before the healing prayer is sung. On 72, may the Eternal One who blesses all life bless and strengthen all of us who struggle against illness. May we whose lives are touched by illness be blessed with faith, courage, love, and caring. May we experience the support and sustenance of family, friends, companions, and community. May we be granted restful nights and days of comfort. We pray for refuah shlema, precious moments of healing and a sense of wholeness in body and soul. May those who care for the sick with their hands, their voices, and their hearts be blessed with courage and stamina. May those who pursue healing through medical skill and knowledge be blessed with insight, patience, and compassion. May all of us, the sick and well together, find courage and hope, and let us all say,
Amen.
Amen. Heal us now.
Refainu Adonai b'nei Rafei, Hoshienu v'nivashea, El karov l'cho korav, acharov l'reav yisho. We pray for healing of the body. We pray for healing of the soul, for strength of flesh and mind and spirit. We pray to once again
and 75. We haven't forgotten Avinu Malkeinu, though we've overthrown kings and we disobey fathers and we have no great liking for absolute power. Akiva stood before you in a time of drought, and his words went up like a flame on the altar. Avinu Malkeinu, you alone are our ruler. Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion for us. He was humble and forgiving, and so his prayer was answered. Tonight we speak again in a time of drought. Dry ground beneath us, no water, only rock. Not a hunger for bread or a thirst for water, but hearts that are longing to hear God's voice. For the sea of faith is all but gone. The tide's gone out on the empty beach. The world mocks our hopes, and life tests our courage. Why do the wicked live on and prosper? Why are you silent when they prey on the innocent? And if your dominion is kindness and justice, why is creation in so much pain? Avinu Malkeinu, sustain our souls. Send rain to our roots. Help us to find a way to pray. Make us humble and forgiving of ourselves and one another. Avinu Malkeinu, renew these words. Help us to speak them with conviction and believe their truth. Together, 100 generations have stood before the ark, and they lifted up their voices like flame on the altar, and they put their trust in kindness and justice, and they gave their strength to make the promise real. Avinu Malkeinu, we haven't forgotten. Avinu Malkeinu, bring us back to you. As you are comfortable doing so, please rise for the opening of the ark and Avinu Malkeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, ein lanu melech ela ata.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, you alone are our God. Avinu Malkeinu, lemancha rachem aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, for your sake, show us mercy. Avinu Malkeinu, seimanu lema'an shemecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us as befits your name. Avinu Malkeinu, shlach refuah shlema lecholei amecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, bring healing and wholeness to the ill among us.
Avinu Malkeinu, kra roa gzar dinenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, allay the harshness of the decree against us.
Avinu Malkeinu, kotvenu besefer geula vishua.
Avinu Malkeinu, inscribe us in the book of redemption and renewal.
Avinu Malkeinu, zochena bezichron tov lefanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, remember our goodness and call it to mind.
Avinu Malkeinu, aseh lemancha vehoshienu.
Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake and save us.
Avinu Malkeinu, shema kolenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful,
hear our voice.
Avinu Malkeinu, chatanu lefanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you.
Avinu Malkeinu, chamol aleinu v'al olaleinu v'tapenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families.
Avinu Malkeinu, kala dever v'cherev v'ra'av me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger.
Avinu Malkeinu, kale kol tsaru mastin me'aleinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror.
Avinu Malkeinu, kotvenu bersefer chayim tovim.
Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the book of lives well lived.
Avinu Malkeinu, chadesh aleinu shana tova.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew for us a year. Avinu Malkeinu, chonenu va'anenu, ki en banu masim, aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshienu.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, for our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love.
Avinu Malkeinu, shema kolenu. Avinu Malkeinu, chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, chamol aleinu, ve'alol aleinu, v'tapeinu.
Avinu Malkeinu, Malkeinu, kalech otzar, u'shma
As the work of creation progressed, God got a great idea. Turning to the angels in the divine court, God said, "Let us make a human after our image, in our likeness." The angels weren't quite so sure that that was really such a good idea. And a great debate ensued. They each turned to the angel next to them and started to discuss the merit of God's idea. It quickly became clear that the angels were divided into two camps, one that supported the creation of humans and the other that opposed it. Amidst the arguing between the angels, two from each side approached the divine throne to try to convince God to follow their advice. "Do not create humans," begged the angel of truth. "They will lie and twist each other's words." "Oh God, please create humans," pleaded the angel of loving kindness, "for they will engage in many acts of care and concern for each other. They will spread love and kindness throughout the world." "Don't listen to loving kindness," cried the angel of peace. "Sure, humans will be loving and kind to the people they like, but you won't want to get in their way if they don't like you. Humans will bring violence and war to the world and destroy your wonderful creation." "It's true," the angel of righteousness calmly added. "Humans will lie and bring violence and war to the world, and they'll bring compassion and kindness. And these will be balanced by a commitment to justice and righteousness. They may fail at times to live up to our ideals, but they will seek to do better. Let them be created." Knowing that all the angels were right, but that a decision had to be made, God took the angel of truth and cast it down to the earth. Now the votes were in favor of the creation of humans, and God began to work. This story, based on a midrash, highlights the enduring challenge of choosing between equally important values when they come into tension with each other. We value both kindness and truth. Which do we prioritize? We value both peace and justice. Which is ultimately more important? These particular values have come to the fore in recent years. We see all of them in play in different ways and prioritized by different people or at different times. In the midst of crisis, especially natural disasters, we usually tend toward kindness and compassion over truth. Just look at the outpouring of support for Texas in the wake of Hurricane Harvey, and for Florida and the Caribbean islands after the devastation of Hurricane Irma. In these early weeks, as people struggle to rebuild homes and lives, as some of my own friends and colleagues wait anxiously for power or a permanent place to live, it doesn't matter what underlying causes led to the destruction. We need to take care of the people whose lives were torn apart. But it also didn't take very long for people to start attributing these disasters to specific causes. Climate change, poor land development regulations, and, if you can believe it, even political support for the LGBTQ community. These have all been touted as reasons for the power of the hurricanes and the extent of the destruction they caused. Currently, these theories and wild speculations don't matter so much because they don't change the on-the-ground reality. But as the immediate needs of the victims are addressed and priorities shift to preventing future destruction, we will need to focus more on determining the truth about what caused these hurricanes and what made them so devastating. These shifts in priorities are normal and natural and even necessary. It can be much harder, however, to figure out when to prioritize peace over justice and righteousness, and when these priorities should be split. Our country is suffering terribly right now from a lack of peace. All sorts of groups have entrenched themselves into their talking points about the lack of justice they experience and go to battle with each other over who needs more support. But fighting over attention and resources, who's right and who's wrong, just creates more turmoil. We need to come together to find our common goals and work toward them with each other, or we will tear ourselves apart. We may need to let go of some of that righteous indignation to give peace a chance to flourish. Meanwhile, calls for peace, acceptance, and tolerance mean little to marginalized groups that struggle for the same rights on paper and in practice as dominant groups. Yes, all lives matter, but in practice, white lives matter more, at least the way it is in our world. Whites are acquitted in criminal cases at higher rates, paid more on average for the same work, and directed more frequently to gold standard medical treatments than people of color, among many other forms of racial bias. Until systemic racism and other forms of racial injustice are addressed and rectified, it will continue to be a challenge to create real peace between white communities and communities of color. Likewise, as long as women have to fight to assert control over our own bodies without the interference of employers, the government, or other groups or individuals, we will not contentedly accept the status quo for the sake of peace. And we, the Jewish people, the Jewish community, we will not tolerate anti-Semitic pamphlets appearing on our streets or people chanting Nazi slogans in broad daylight, no less, just because we deeply value peace. Sometimes we have to prioritize justice and righteousness over peace to fulfill our obligation to make the world a better place. The reality is that kindness, truth, justice, and peace are only a few of the values that we weigh in our lives. Balancing family needs, personal needs, and professional needs can be challenging because all are important. What we want to do and what we should do often come into conflict as well, and sometimes we're even forced to choose between the many things we want to do. But there's only so much time in the day. We spend our lives prioritizing and reprioritizing our values and what's important to us. It's a natural part of our growth throughout the years of our lives. That being said, it's at big moments like milestone celebrations or the beginning of the year that I start to wonder whether I'm living out my values and priorities or just hoping to get to them at some point. Am I so caught up in doing what needs to be done right this second that I don't have a chance to do what's ultimately important to me? I have to admit, I'm probably too afraid of the answer to spend much time thinking about it. It's much easier to busy myself with other urgent matters. This summer, however, I had an unusual opportunity to reflect on my core values. As the final assignment for one of the courses I took in June, my classmates and I were asked to write our retirement speeches. Don't worry, I'm not retiring. In addition to making sure that we had read and synthesized the material that we had covered, this assignment was intended to make us think about what was vital to us in our work. To meaningfully complete the assignment, we had to choose how we would want to be remembered at the end of our careers. Interestingly, we were told specifically not to reference details about projects that we imagined that we would undertake, but instead to focus on the qualities and values that guided our work. I won't lie, it was a very difficult assignment to do. It's hard enough to summarize a career that's at its end, let alone one that exists mostly in my imagination. But it was a powerful assignment. It forced me to articulate my highest values as a person and as a leader, among them curiosity and openness to learning, strength and flexibility, acceptance without complacency, and respect. But as challenging as it was to write this retirement speech, it's even harder to take it to heart. Now I have to be willing to admit where I'm not living up to my ideals. Now I need to consider what I need to change in my work and in my life to live out my values. Now I can't avoid the changes I need to make by pleading busyness and ignorance. And it's so much easier to just continue to follow the path that I'm already on. Whenever my mentor and teacher, Rabbi Richard Levy, would teach about the High Holy Days, he would start by drawing a squiggly path with twists and turns, rough patches, and puddles. This, he would say, is the path of life. Sometimes it's smooth and straight and life is easy. Other times we face challenges that we have to overcome in order to keep moving forward. Or we thought we were heading to one place and ended up going somewhere else. We don't know what that path looks like, but our parents, our teachers, and the Torah all serve as guides to help us along the road. Then he would draw arrows leading off the path. Each one reflected a different Hebrew word for sin, most of which share roots with other words that mean straying from the path. We stray or get distracted or think we're following the right path until all of a sudden we realize that we are totally off course. But we can always turn back. That's tshuva, repentance. I love this imagery, and now I share it when I teach about the High Holy Days. But it's missing one piece. We too have the ability to guide ourselves along our paths and back to them when we stray. Our parents, our teachers, the Torah can help us along the way. But what they really do is help us learn how to do our own course corrections. As adults, it's up to us to make sure that we continue down the right path to the destination we envision for ourselves, lest we find ourselves somewhere unexpected and have no idea how we got there. And this is where clarifying our values and priorities and changing our behavior as needed helps us turn back to our true selves. At the beginning of our service, we sang the words, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and reborn and reborn. This song transitions into the last line of the Torah service, a verse from the end of the book of Lamentations that appears and reappears in our High Holy Day liturgy. Hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva. Help us return, Adonai, to you, and we shall return. Though we make wrong turns and take detours and explore places off the path of our true selves, Jewish tradition teaches us that teshuvah is always possible, that we can always, even up to the last day of our lives, turn back to God, to ourselves, and to the values that we might leave behind when we go astray. The question is, do we? Do we make the effort to discover what our highest priorities are? Do we consider what we need to do to live out those values? And once we know what we need to do, will we turn back even when it's difficult? I intend to use these days of awe, this time from Rosh HaShanah through Yom Kippur, and even through Sukkot and Simchat Torah, to figure out how to get back to the path where I can live out my core values and honor my priorities. I invite you to join me in this process, whether you choose to reflect during our services or when you have a few moments peace and quiet. And I think I can speak for Rabbi Gibson and Cantor Berman in saying that any of us would be happy to guide you through that reflection and to walk beside you as you return. May the challenges of this personal growth work flourish into blessings of happiness, wholeness, and peace. I wish for all of you a Shana Tova U'Metuka, a good and sweet year, filled with love and laughter, strength and support, and above all, health, wholeness, and peace. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will.
Well, it wouldn't be High Holidays without telling you what's going on next. So how many of you here are under 43 years old? Raise your hand. That's pretty good. If you are over 21 and under 43, and that's kind of a ballpark, by the way, because we're Reformed, we don't enforce it strictly, there is an after-hours gathering upstairs in the chapel with wine and cheese and other things to eat, and I think that you have a chance to actually talk about some of these values for you. It's so easy to hear about them here and leave them here as you go home. So you are welcome. Everybody in that kind of age range, if you kind of know what I mean, is welcome to the Barnett Chapel after our service, after you've seen everybody you want to see, to go up and continue this kind of talk, this soul talk, this neshama talk with Rabbi Gorban. And
you can also socialize and enjoy snacks.
All the good stuff. It doesn't all have to be so heavy. So tomorrow there's a Tot Rosh HaShanah service at 8 a.m. in the Barnett Chapel. The early service with less formal music is at 8:30. There also is a children's service and program at 8:30 in the morning, and the late service starts at 11:30. There's a community family service, which Rabbi Gorban has completely rewritten. Thank you so much for doing that, Rabbi Gorban. At 4:45, followed by the Tashlich service. Both of these are in Frick Park. There are directions on the front desk and posted on the Temple Sinai website. We will never have to fight the boat landing again, and people who want to put their boats in the water or drag them out while we're praying. The second day of Rosh HaShanah is considered one long day. We follow the Israeli calendar. 10 o'clock service on Friday morning, and that will be also in the Barnett Chapel. And Shabbat Shuvah will also be held in the Barnett Chapel at 7 o'clock. For Shabbat, there'll be Torah study at 8:30 in the morning and our informal minyan with the appropriate insertions for the Shabbat Shuvah at 9:15. Everything else I'll let you read on your own. There are bags that we expect and hope that you will fill with groceries over the course between now Rosh Hashanah and the end of Simchat Torah. Go to some place and buy foods that are sticky. Go find foods that don't have to be cooked. Go find foods that people can eat readily. Hopefully, without as much pork as they offer in some of the stores, but the idea is that we get this to the food bank so that people can eat and supplement their calorie count. That's the most important thing that I think of when people are facing hunger and the cold to come. Every year, so I've been here, I've asked that the tables groan. In the last couple of years, you've done an amazing job. The tables haven't only groaned, you've actually had to put things under the table, around the table, and there are tables on all three entrances. You'll notice that our take on our political environment is to quote from the Bible. You will see when you walk in the path of the Krieger entrance, my house shall be a house of prayer for all people who seek the best of themselves and want to approach God. However they understand God, are welcome in this place, no matter their color, their gender, their orientation, their neighborhood, their zip code. Whatever it is, you are welcome here. And finally, if you came in late, as I said, take some time as you leave this place to go and look out the wall across from the restrooms and see Annie Weidman's beautiful kotel, her western wall. You're invited to make notes, put them in the small slots that are there. They will fall into pouches. Nobody will read them, and I will take them to Jerusalem next time I go. It is a symbolic act. It is a tactile act, but sometimes that's the best thing to do instead of only saying words and only singing prayers. Also, as I said, out your right side, my left side, you're dressed so beautifully and wearing such incredible smiles. If you have your smartphones, who cares about Jewish law tonight? Take pictures. Take pictures of your ganze mishpacha. Take pictures of your children, your grandchildren. Take pictures and send them to the address that's indicated on the poster out there. And hopefully, Kenahora Poo Poo Poo, because I'm Reform and believe in superstition, that they will have enough slides for a Kol Nidre slideshow as you walk in a week from Friday. To see your beautiful faces to start this year is a gift beyond words. So I'm going to ask Rabbi Gorban to come back up. I'm going to thank Ellen and our choir. Thank you so much. It's good to see you again. And if you will please look in your books on page, it's 82, I'm pretty sure, you will find, excuse me? I thought I invited Kenna Berman. Kenna Berman, you're invited. And by the way, she is so good, she'll come up whether I invite her or not, but I invite her. So as you are able, as you are comfortable, please rise on 82 for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teik gedula l'yotzer bereshit, shelo tzanu kagoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sanu chelkeinu kahem, v'goraleinu kechol hamonam,
v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Please be seated, everyone. We're on page 85. May the time not be distant, our God. Together we read, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when lies and bigotry shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye.
So may all created in your image become one in spirit and in friendship,
forever united in your service.
Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever.
Requests are granted. And this is mine. Grasp my affection in your hand and hold it there. Gather my affection into your heart and store it there. Draw my affection in simple lines in your mind and foster it. Further it. Funnel it into all the coastal plains and lowlands where the daily life and memory flow together. Let the river of affection rise and overflow. Let the grasses in the meadow near the river bend in the current where my love has flooded your land. Our thoughts turn to loved ones whom death has taken from us in recent days and those who have died at the season in years past. Our hearts open as well to the wider circles of loss in our community. Wherever grief touches the human families, may their memories be a blessing in this new year and always. Before we fulfill our custom of Mourner's Kaddish, it's my sad duty to announce today the death of Lenny Bernstein, the beloved wife of Linda of 59 years.
Beloved husband.
Husband. Sorry. The husband of Linda of 59 years and the father of 3 generations of a family in this synagogue. The funeral will be Friday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon at Sugar's. You'll be able to see more when it's published by the Post-Gazette. It is our custom that if you are in mourning, either now for somebody who is dear to you, or observing the yahrzeit of somebody who is dear to you, or we will say on Rosh HaShanah, if you've lost someone dear to you in the last year, we ask you to rise in place right now so that we can tell that you are in mourning and honor you in that way. And because we insist that no mourner ever need stand alone, we ask that our community rise to accompany our mourners, as Kaddish is said on page 90. Yitgadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah, v'yomad yivrach Yeruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'adala uvizman kari v'yemru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shmei dekudsha brichu, le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechamata, damiram v'yalma v'yemru, Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya, v'chayim aleina ve'al kol Yisrael v'yemru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleina ve'al kol Yisrael v'yemru, Amen. May the source of peace in the high heavens cause peace to descend on all of us, all Israel. May God send peace to our broken land and to all those whose hearts are in terror from nature, from earthquake and hurricane. All of us worthy of God's peace, as together we say.
Amen.
Amen.
I want to have a special thank you to our president, Dr. Philip Lehman, and his wife Jill, who led us in Candles and Kiddush tonight. Thank you so much. Our final song is 94. It's a Don Alum. If it's the one I think, it's really a lot of fun, right?
So please join.
Oh, this is a lot of fun. Adon olam Hashem malach, yai da 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 da, b'terem kol yitzir nimra, yai da 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 da, le'et asav v'chetzo kol, yai da 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 da, azan alech shemo nikra, yai da 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 da, v'yacharei kichlot hakol. This is going to be your part, guys. Don olam Hashem malach, b'terem kol yitzir nivra, le'en asav v'chetzo kol, azan alech shemo nikra, echad v'ein sheni, להשילו להכבירה, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז. You know this part. Don olam Hashem malach, b'terem kol yitzir nivra, le'en asav v'chetzo kol, azan alech shemo nikra. Two more verses. וחי גואלי וצור חבלי בעת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא, אדון עולם השם מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, le'en asav v'chetzo kol, azan alech shemo nikra,
ידov kidruchi v'etishan v'yaira,
v'im ruchi geviati, Adonai li v'lo. Last time. טרם כל יציר נברא, לעין עשה בחץ הכל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, Baruchim atem b'voachem, baruchim atem b'tzeitchem me'tava ad olam. May you be blessed with the sweetness of apples and honey and soft kisses and warm embraces. May you find every hurt in your life soothed by somebody who loves you and cares about you. May you go into God's world with peace and love and go out and spread that love into a world that desperately needs it. May God's peace be upon us all as together we say.
Amen.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.